Hi, everybody. Thanks for your patience. Namaste. Welcome to my Saturday live chat. And today this is going to be all about the coins or the denier or the discs, however you want to call it. And I've got 4 decks on the table. Sorry, I didn't have cards out. Well, I did. I had them out, but they were not sorted. So I needed a moment. Thank you. Appreciate it. So this has been a really interesting journey. And if you're just coming in today, where I am at with this series is I've spent 2 weeks on each of the suits. And so that means this is the first week with the coins, and then we will transition in, we'll do another week with the coins. And I really liked the chat last week where we brought in the energy of the majors. So I'll do that next week with the coins. And then where do we go? Then I want to look at more details, perhaps qualities of the numbers, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure where I'm going to go from there. I've really been inspired by Tarot of the Holy Light and loving some of the historical references. I think it's such a great reference. And I want to perhaps read a couple of things from this book for you today, just from the Suit of Coins. And I think this is such it's such an important suit. And the way that I have, and I didn't highlight it, so I don't know if I'll be able to find it, but the way that I have worked with this suit, and this comes, of course, there is Golden Dawn influence that has come with this, and you know that I've been working with the energy of the Tetragrammaton and my Thoth Inspired series, and I have been teaching the Waite Smith for years, and so these influences are strong. They are very much in alignment with my chakra yoga background, and I just absolutely love what Christine wrote in this book. And she said something to the effect of, and I think it was in the coin intro, where they don't call it coins, they call it discs in that book, where she said that the Tree of Life is the chakra system. It's a Western take on the chakra system. And when I read that sentence, it just blew my mind. Now, there are lots of other books that compare the Tree of Life to the chakra system, and it's not a perfect alignment, of course, because it's a different interpretation, but it just, I just love that comment. And what I wanted to say with the coins is the coins are a complex suit. Life here on this world, the manifest world, is a difficult place. It's very complex. And as the density increases with our third dimension, things really slow down and sometimes they're hard to perceive. It is, yeah, it's very complex. Another thing that I was reminded of was, and this comes through many mythologies, and you all are aware that there is, the god of air and the god of fire or the god of wind and the god of fire and the god of rain or water, and that these anthropomorphizations of these elements really give them divine qualities. And it's the coming together of these elements or the manifestation of these elements in this earthly experience that we witness in the Suit of Coins. And that comes in many manifestations. And another thing that she says, which just, I feel like I'm talking to my sister in this book, is just a wonderful reminder. First and foremost, it is about our meat suit. No, those aren't her words. Those are one of my favorite terms from yoga. But yeah, it is about our physical body, because the closest thing to us is this tangible container that hosts our soul. So we'll get into this talk about more of this as it represents through each of the numbers, but I want to say hello and welcome. If you're new, I'm Sadhana, and lover of all things metaphysical, tarot, and it's just my pleasure to guide these chats. So welcome to Heather, Soul Alchemy with Indigo. Namaste, Saskia, who is in bed in Greece. Welcome to Saskia. Now, who else is here this afternoon, evening, morning? We have Dee, who's in the UK. Namaste. And who else? Anybody else here? You guys are really chatty. Okay. Looks like we have us. Oh, Ramon is here. Namaste, Ramon. Welcome to you. Moon Scarab. Okay, there we go. Anybody? I'm sorry if I missed you. And I will try to greet you as you come in. The decks that are on the table today, left to right, are the 4th edition of the Yonasa Yaus. This is a deck inspired by the work of Jodorowsky. Does not look a lot like a Tarot de Marseille, but I bring it out from time to time because there's something about it that is kind of haunting. I do love the color palette of this edition. This is Rosario Salerno's, and I'm hoping this week I can do a full walkthrough of this deck and a full commentary. New Choice, Tarot de Marseille. This is a 2nd edition. And some of you were having trouble finding this deck. This deck is called Tarot of the Ozarks. So Ozarks is a region in the U.S., Ozarks or Ozarks, and there is a play on the French. So it's Tarot O-A-U-X. No, Tarot de Ozarc. So it's by Laurie LePage, and it is available on Printer Studio. And the 2nd edition on Printer Studio is still available. So, and I have been putting the links, sometimes days late, underneath each of the videos. So hopefully you can find it. And the deck on the far right is Patrick Valenza's Trionfi della Luna. This is the original English edition that has 333 on the box. And there are many, many iterations and colorizations of this deck. And again, it's not a straight up Tarot de Marseille. None of these are. And next week, I'll be sure to have a straight up Tarot de Marseille on the table. So we'll look more closely at that. Okay. All right. Aces. These cards are so beautiful. The beginning of, or, oh, there's just so many good words we can use here. This is the gift. This is the gift of this earthly experience. And this presents in many ways. Of course, it presents as money, but I think this is one of the last things that is represented here. Again, Christine was talking about, Christine Payne Towler is the author of Tarot of the Holy Light. So that's the Christine I'm talking about. Talents, and talent as a currency. And we have many gifts, and this may come in the form of a service. It might come through something that we create with our hands. It can be a gift of our time. It can be a gift of how we deliver a thought. And I've really been struggling with this suit. I am simultaneously doing a study of playing card divination and reading with playing cards. And I've been going back through more historical methods of reading the playing cards. Right now, I am trying to make sense of Leo Martelli's It's Written in the Cards, and talking about that on Wednesday nights in the Facebook group. The suit of coins, the suit of discs, pentacles. In tarot, we tend to associate with I'm going to get this wrong. Let me go through this because I'm so mixed up with this whole playing card tarot thing right now. So I'm just going to go through this. Diamonds, right? Diamonds as the pentacles. Diamonds as the money. So the suit of fire is often attributed to, so the wands to the clubs, right? To the clubs, and the spades to the air, to the mind, and water hearts. So this is very different in the original sort of thinking of the playing cards. However, there's a lot of crossover. And for me, it's just the energy is important here. And so, first and foremost, this suit is a synthesis, it is a manifestation of the energy of all of the suits. And so it's complicated and it's dense. So when I look at this ace, this is the weaving together of our mind, our thoughts, and our voice with our power and our passion and our creativity, fueled perhaps by our emotions, our intuition, and driving something. And so all of this comes together and presents something manifest, something here tangible that we can hold on to. And Heather says, I see diamonds sharp like a sword. How interesting. And as I read your comment, you may be interested to know that the suit of spades, shovels, if you're not following on Wednesday nights, the suit of spades, shovels, and I need to keep saying that word, spade, shovel, we dig with in the earth. And this is the suit of earth in the original playing cartomancy system. It's fascinating, and to look at some of these words and interpretations is really brilliant. But you know what? I know I'm talking a lot, but I want to just find this something that really was kind of brilliant, made sense to me this morning. Okay. Well, there's so many great things here. Discs ultimately symbolize strengths or gifts, sources of support that provide for you based on your own efforts or those of your ancestors. Such gifts can include family money, marketable skills, insider connections, a special cultural heritage, farmlands, etc. The biblical use of the word talent for a unit of money offers us an interesting play on words. Whether as a coin or as a capability, a talent is a potential, an ability that is ready to be spent in actualization of a goal. Those who are willing to invest in themselves, their time, their money, and labor deserve the reward of the effort. So it's interesting that all of this language comes together, and that effort was what we and the inspiration can come through the emotion, it can come through a thought. Inspiration comes in many ways. It can come through just the heat of passion that arises in a moment. The discs provide those rewards as well as supplying the means to denominate both earning power and spending power. Think of the discs as the symbol of currency you possess for protecting your sovereignty in this world. Now listen to this, because this is good. Discs symbolize the value of your assets, whether they are intellectual, entrepreneurial, artistic, or any other property, in quotation marks, you command. right down to the sheer brute strength to physically outwork those around you. So, this idea of this amalgamation of energy here is so very real. And I think we forget that the journey, oh, thank you for that, Dee. The journey through and whatever system you follow um, frequently ends with the coins as the fourth suit. And I know for those of you that followed the challenge I did as well in Mindful Tarot, we started with the coins, which was immensely uncomfortable for me. This starting from this, it's like we started with the whole and then took it apart in pieces. This card, arising in a reading, I want to ask, this, there's something very real here that is ready for you to offer out in the world. What are you ready to present? What are you ready to share? What are you ready to do? And how do you do this? And then another thing to reflect on is currency, money as gold. And the idea of gold reflecting the sun, it's reflecting our energy. It is connected to our self-identity, our egos, who we are. And so I just want to repeat that there's a lot to this suit. A lot. And if you find yourself going in a direction, talking about another element while gazing at one of the coin cards, know that that is indeed part of that conversation. And I'm going to read Dee's comment aloud here. The Ace of Coins, the root of actual physical power and the riches that can be built from the earthly dominion. And all of the challenges that it presents to be here in this confinement of the earthly dimension. And it's this restriction of the physical body upon the soul, this restriction of gravity, this restriction of this slow, dense energy, particularly this age that we live in now, that can feel really overwhelming. Mm-hmm. And look at the potential in these aces. There's so much here that is blooming and blossoming and wanting to, it's like it wants to escape from the card. They're all so gorgeous. And the use of the poppy. Wow. I mean, poppy has so many connotations. And I haven't actually thought of that Ace of Coins in the Unasi house, the poppy energy. That's another conversation, isn't it? The greatest challenge is to get everyone to agree money represents our value. And for those of you that are tarot readers, this is so essential. Those of you that are readers of other kinds of readers as well too, and I know this applies to every sort of work and service that we do. There is a value for our work, and the exchange of energy for that is a very real thing. Yeah. Okay, so I want to talk about and of course this concept applies to all of the twos. There's something really special with the two of coins. The way that in the Tarot de Marseille, it has that flow of energy that is represented by a ribbon or some greenery or um, I mean, it's depicted in lots of different ways. I'm looking at the so yeah, I was kind of going, okay, what are we looking at here? But I will come back to that. The gold is really shining brightly there in that card. And when I look at the new choice, the second deck, there's something quite intriguing here about the energy of the gold. And I notice we also have the gold as well here too, and the flow of the energy. And isn't it interesting that this card is the one often where the creator has their name and signs their name? What I wanted to say is this: in the twos, in order for that seed, that gift to break apart, something needs to happen. There's some sort of action that has taken place. And I think this energy is so beautifully depicted when the two is represented energetically in this way, with this flow of energy. You can call it a lemniscate, whatever you want to call it. I think it's a really important symbol, and I do like how the Crowley deck maintained this, and you'll also see this in one of the decks we've been looking at, the Lumina Tarot. The Two of Coins does this as well too. Many of the pip decks pick up on this shape of energy. And one thing I am noticing here is that the flow of energy is not the same on all of these cards. And you'll find sometimes that readers talk, not readers, well, tarologists, readers, I guess as well too, whether we are going clockwise to counterclockwise, or which way the energy of the ribbon or the lemniscate is flowing. I think one of the important things for me in this card is to know that this is a card of change, very real change here and now. Energy is moving. I love to think of this card as, I mean, this is a great movement card, and I'm looking for other signs of movement in a reading. The interplay of the elements in continuous movement, harmonious change. And all of the elements are a part of this this dance of life, and the way that we need to understand how one movement affects the next movement. And there's this dance of the elements together. Dee, what are you oh my God. Yes. Very good question. I know. I see Heather responded. Yeah. Like a fertilized egg beginning to separate and grow. I read somewhere that the number 2 was not actually thought of as a number yet. It's still undeveloped. And it's not until we get to the 3 that we have that it's actually a number. It's actually tangible. I haven't brought that deck out. Maybe I should do that next week. Yes, I think a lot of us have this beautiful deck. Yes. And I don't know why that's why I haven't brought it out. I will do that. Thanks for that, Saskia. Worth is not the same as wealth. That is for sure. Okay. Another piece that I don't think we have talked about in these discussions is the idea that the 2 is 2 parts of the 1. And as we progress through the numbers, let's go to the next number. Look how she's staying true to the shape of the upward facing triangle. That's nice. And this one is receptive. Okay. Unless I have the card upside down, which I don't think I do. No, she has her numbers on the bottom. And why might this be in the shape of a downward facing triangle? Receptive suit, perhaps. But the idea of the 3 of coins with the upward facing triangle is that something is being birthed. Something in this material world is coming together, is growing. And we actually see the fruit of the fruit of the loins in this card right here, in this coin that at the top. But I understand this, right? So there's this, we have receptive suits, we have receptive numbers. And here we have a active number in a receptive suit. So deck creators try to reconcile that in different ways. Now, it's interesting, the weather pattern in the Yonasios. What might you read? Now, I'm seeing a lot of rain. Maybe rain through the window. And then we get a starry sky. That is really cool. I haven't done a deep dive with this deck, and I just noticed that. So it's very without rain, flowers cannot grow. And you know what else I thought, Heather? I thought that maybe the um, the heavy rains are um, they make things muddy, right? It sort of exacerbates the density of Malkut, of the earth, of this dimension. It brings people down energetically, most people anyway. Um, okay. All right, so we see the shield in the 4, which is very traditional, Marseille. And we have a number of cards that are marked in the Tarot de Marseille, and you might want to look at the deck that you are working with to see where the printer left their mark, the designer, the deck creator left their mark. So there's the print, right? There's the printing house. There is I guess there's 3, right? There's the printing house. There's the person who does the woodcuts, if it's that process, and then there is the designer themselves. So why? Thank you for all these comments. Why would this be an important card to be marked by one of those bodies? Well, 4s are foundation of all of those keywords that I was suggesting for the suit of coins. So this is a card of we've got our feet on the ground. Business is established. Things are we're seeing the potential. The potential is being realized. This is a very good card. I'm going to go to some of Saskia's comments. Let's go to the last one. Tai Chi is beautiful. You were talking about the 2 of Pentacles, the interplay of the yin and the yang, the harmonizing, the balancing, that dynamic movement of energy that we need to understand, that as something moves, it influences other things to move as well too. Nothing moves in isolation, and I suppose also a reminder that everything is always in motion. It's just not visible to our 3D eye. In the 4 of coins in the deck on the left, the flowers have been cut, and in a way that to me symbolizes like it's the garden has grown, the flowers are being, there's an appreciation of all that we have here. Right, the family crest. Okay. The family that the deck was created for. We have that part of the history as well too. So in this card, there is a massive amount of abundance. And why do you think we see a skewing to the shadow of this energy in the Waite-Smith? And I know there are a few Waite-Smith clones that don't. You may see the beauty of this success. I don't know, I feel like this card gives us a leg to stand on. It's a 2 plus a 2. It's even, and I feel like we can trust in this energy. And then when I look at the crest, and I'm reminded of the layers and the levels of ancestry that often are woven through this particular suit, and how we either stand on the traditions or the energy or the family businesses of those that have gone before us as well too. Mm. I do like in the Five of Pentacles, in the Five of Coins, denier, how that idea of the fours, the fours, um, the condensation of the fours, the structure of the fours, the restriction of the fours. It almost forces a reaction. In some way, we feel. Um, I just said sorry, I'm laughing. I just had this really funny thought of like a cyst breaking, a pimple breaking. Um, something something needs to get out. Something needs to be released. I know that's gross. Um, but there's a release of sorts, and there is growth through that release. And because of that structure, thanks to that structure, thanks to that limitation that the four perhaps created, we're able to find our way. This is It's a really tricky card for some people who we often get lost in Waite-Smith iconography. And there are so many beautiful ways that this card has been done. But I think the simplicity of we still see the structure, we still see the four, and then we see, I know I've described this before, it's like in this card, I'm seeing this three-dimensionally, like this central coin is higher than the other four. It's like the pressure creates this fifth, like in the three, that top coin has been created from the two. For those of you that work regularly with the Waite-Smith Tarot, I'm sure you have seen the Five of Coins in the Dust to Onyx Tarot. It's one of my favorite fives of coins. And you see a boat crossing the Mediterranean, and the coins are behind the boat, symbolizing all that is left behind and the choices that we make in moving forward. So the symbol here is moving from the homeland to a new journey. Now, the coins are left behind. The home, the language, the culture is left behind for our soul's growth moving forward. And I think it's just such a beautiful depiction. It's an overhead shot of a boat of refugees moving from northern Africa somewhere to somewhere in Europe. And it's a famous photograph. You can, if you don't know what the card I'm talking about, you can Google Five of Pentacles, Dust to Onyx. And it's almost like this central growth is held It's held. It might be a little vulnerable, because that's the new part, and it might be a little sensitive and not fully developed, and it's like look in the Trompe de la Luna. It's completely surrounded, like those green leaves are holding it, you know? It's the new offering. Look at the Unasayaos. Is that red wine uh, running out of the goblet? Is it blood? There is so much growth that the cup is overfull. It feels like someone comes along and throws down one more coin on the table. Ah. Is this the ace then? Is this a gift or another offering? And Dee, when you say that, to me that feels like something like in the collection plate. And I'm thinking, okay, this is a 5, this is the Pope, the Hierophant. And so there's another purpose to throwing this other coin down. It's an investment of sorts. And I think we can play that metaphor through many layers of this card. Okay, so here we have the sun. 6 is associated with that luminary. And so in a way, if you think about the gold of the coins, and the gold of the coins reflecting self, and number 6 being a number of peace and harmony, perfection, solar energy. Yeah, the church hated people betting with cards. In that way, this is sort of like a double solar card. And I'm not talking about decanic associations. I'm just talking about the general energy of the coins and the gold being reflected here, and 6 being a number of, it's a number where we can take a breath. Now, notice how the stability returns to the center. We have 2 outliers that are balanced, and then we have that shape. We have the shape of the 4 coins and the 2 outliers in all of these decks here in the traditional format. So there's that sense of, like, the 4 is a very strong number, an important component of the 5, of the 6, of the 7 in some shapes of 7. Heather, the 6 of coins, the red ones, do not resonate with me. It doesn't flow like the previous ones. Mm-hmm. And she has the earth symbol on each of these coins, the 4-quadrant symbol. Red, right? It doesn't look just like solar energy. That may be an intention. It's not as pretty, right? For a card of peace and harmony. Can we, so the Ionaseos, we have the 6 rays of the sun instead of 6 coins. And the 6 rays beaming into or from the back of the head. And for those of you that know your Hebrew letters, you can draw a line to that. Somewhere else, eyes are closed. This is an internal reflection of peace and of harmony. What might you say about, okay, we have a 4 in the center and we have 2 coins on the outside that are harmonized and balanced. Mm-hmm. Isn't it interesting how certain cards can give us such a strong reaction? Mm-hmm. I get that. I get that. Okay. Now, I said, no, for some reason, I wasn't seeing you at all. I was just seeing the chat, maybe my computer. Okay, well, I think we're good. Maybe your computer. If anybody else has some technical stuff going on, maybe you can let Saskia know. I think we've talked a lot about chariot energy. And in this particular 7, we have a, well, let's just say it's not like Euclidean geometry. So we do see the 4 again on the bottom. So the grounding, the stability, the foundation, the bottom 4. And then we have a cup energy on the top. So we have the cup energy growing out of and from the foundation. Together they create this beautiful shape of the 7. In Euclidean geometry, the 3 is flipped the other way. So the 3 is an upward facing triangle. But this idea of 7 being 4 plus 3, and you can think about that as emperor plus empress, growth and fertility coming through a strong foundation. So we have father and mother. And here in the suit of coins, this really does show development. And once again, we have a single coin that is being highlighted, featured. And we saw that in the 3 and the 5 and in the 7. It's like we see these stepping stones of progress. Dee, did you let us know what you are sharing? Is this from David's book? Can you just let us know? Or your own amalgamation of teachings? One of the things I like about this, so we've gone from this rainy background to this starry night sky, sort of like infinite potential lying ahead. And I think that card really speaks to the idea of the chariot. But also remember that the chariot, when it is, as it is illustrated, often has the 4 on the bottom and the 3 on the top. And we see the 4 representing the chariot itself and the 3 as the charioteer. And I think what's happening here in the Yonasi Yaus deck is the symbolization of possibilities. Anything is possible. We have come to this place where we've grown through a lot, and this magical number of 7 can take wing. It really can. Hi, Perry. Thank you. Such a contrast, right? The ace, the 6, and the 9. The ace, the 6, and the 9 sit on the central pillar if you're looking at the cards through the Tree of Life. And I've thought a lot about the 9. Or is this the 8? This is the 8. Okay. So so my question here is, why is Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing, depicted on this card? This is the 8. So here we are balancing. And the practice of alternate nostril breathing, second and third finger on the forehead, thumb and fourth finger controlling the pattern of inhalation and exhalation, regulates balance in the body. So here we are again. We have 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. We have this number that is 4 plus 4 or 2 plus 2 plus 2. It's perfectly balanced. And the card is getting very rich and full. And I often think about what this and why this, how this came to be what we see in the Waitsmith. And if you think about it, oh, thank you, Dee. Wonderful. Okay, let's go through Dee's book list, and then I'll comment more on this card. David, Gareth, Knight, Bendov, Elias. That's Camellia, Elias, Enriquez. Oh, beautiful. Thank you, Dee. This is a powerful practice that must be regulated and taken slowly. It's not something you dive through progressions rapidly. It can be quite disturbing to the body if you do. You need to take it slowly and step by step. I want to get back to answering my question, but I'm also thinking with this particular card, we see the ladder, we see the steps progressing, building upon one another. And we see the rungs of the ladder as well, too. Do I have the right card here? And it's like we have an extra flower here. Should we look and see? I'm going to look and see what that extra flower is in this card. So we're going to go to the eighths. Isn't this interesting? One of the things that Salerno says about these are the 8th grade of the minor arcana and basically represent perfection and intuition, but also accomplishment, experience, maturity, mastery, and confidence. This is also a practice of heightening intuition. 8 of coins, abundance and prosperous, fullness, harmony, and wealth. All needs are fulfilled. The buttercup flowers mean riches. And there's I think as well too, when I think of buttercups, I think of their nourishment for the ground, for the garden. I think of their simplicity. There was something else I wanted to say here about 4 plus 4. Oh, maybe the reflection of the 4 plus the 4. And in a way, this central icon, we also see a lovely flower here in this card at the center. And perhaps the center is the third eye itself. That is the command center for... Because remember where we are in this suit of coins, there is a lot that is being processed through this combination of fire and water and air coming together as we build and we develop our way in this earthly experience. In the 8 of coins in the Waite Smith, we do see a straight line of coins attached to a tree, and we see coins as well too around the person who's working. And I get that sense, that ladder sense, that step by step, and there is a dedication here. There is a dedication. There's a commitment. For sure, there is a commitment. 8 of coins, holding on to the tried and tested. And prudence certainly would fit in with an esoteric practice like Nadi Shodhana, for sure. Yeah. Nine of coins. So here we have a 4 plus a 4 plus a 1. And in the Yunasa Yaos, there is a intentional viewing of the roots and the energy returning to the bulb, so that energy can be stored for the next season. Perry Moonscarab's name is Ramon. Beautiful soul on YouTube. Has his own channel. So I think there's something to that. Look at each of the 9 of coins here. And could you see this central coin being the bulb to which the energy returns and is stored for the next cycle? This is the end of the cycle. This is a culmination of the energy where we see the full flowering of the plant, the full ripeness of the fruit. This is where we pick the fruit and enjoy the fruit. We enjoy the flowers. Everything is luscious. When I look at the Tarot de Marseille, and I'm not sure which card it is, there is one in sorry, what is the tarot deck that goes with the book WTF is Tarot? Way Home Tarot. There is a card in the Way Home Tarot that has a bunch of, and it might be for the Six of Swords that I'm thinking of, a bunch of wildflowers, and each of the wildflowers in the card is different. And they each are growing and they each are developing in their own way, and yet together they make this beautiful picture. They are unique in their own aspect. And I'm really liking this bulb analogy here for the Nine of Pentacles. Maybe that's why we see the woman on the lounge chair drinking a glass of wine, enjoying herself, enjoying the fruits of her labors, enjoying the fruits of her thoughts, her energies, her hard work, reaping the reward of her gifts, in deep gratitude for all that is. Another thing I observe here too is the fact that the roots are lit. The roots are in the light and the flowers are in the darkness. And that inverse perspective also highlights something harmonious and special. I think I might speak to the wings. Looking at the Trionfi della Luna may speak to the wings, and that through this card, indeed, you will take wings. Nines are a 333. They're tremendous abundance, and from this card we do take wings. And the seeds of the plant fall to the earth, and everything is it's recycled. Hmm. And then we come to the end. This is the end and the beginning. The 4 is in the center again. The 4 is in the center. We see the 6, this is the same shape that we saw in the 6 with the 2 and the 2. So we see a 6 and a 2 and a 2. We do not see the coins in the shape of the tree of life. I think we see a reflection of fulfillment, of everything that we have journeyed through. And there's a sort of a different kind of depiction in the Tarot de Ozar. I, in that card, see a kind of a bottom to top evolution, and something else is shining through there for me. I because the 5th pentacle on the bottom isn't in the center of the bottom 5. It's a little bit higher up. And so it takes on a slightly different energy through that shape. And so I want to remind you, when you're working with these cards, there's also a flowering as well too. When I look at the 6 in the center, the 6, so I see the 4, the place of stability, then I see the 6, the place of harmony, and then I see the 2 on the top, the 2 on the bottom, perfectly harmonized and balanced. And that it feels like a big sigh, a deep sigh. When I look to the Yonasa Yos, it reminds me of those last days of summer where we almost don't want to let go. We wish we could linger a little longer, and yet we know maybe back to school, the seasons soon will be changing. It's always a bittersweet time of year for me. And I wonder about this deck, and I wonder here with the layers of lines and the geometry, if what Lori is trying to present here is something has been built. There is a structure, there is a stability, we're seeing the architecture of our life realized. Like, to me, this feels like an architect's plans, as opposed to something quite different in this card that just feels like a complete harmonization of life. And most definitely, I would see this as the 4th 10, the integration of all of that. All right. So this is our first kick at the can with these 10 cards. Next week, I will come back and we will look at these cards through the lens of the major arcana, along with any other little tidbit that I can throw out there for you. It is an ongoing journey. There is no end to the growth and development that can come through the study of the tarot, our own self-reflections, what we can learn about ourselves, and the things that we see mirrored in the cards. It really is extraordinary. I find it very, I've mentioned this before, and there's a lot of tarot Facebook pages where people will ask a question and they'll put a picture of a card and they'll go, "What does this mean?" And I just kind of roll my eyes. I rarely comment because, and I want to do a video. I have, I've got the thumbnail done. I just don't know when I can do it. I need to mark a time. What I might do is next Saturday do 2 broadcasts, And this was, somebody asked me about there's so many components here. So I did a couple videos on what is an intuitive reader. And there's some really sort of snarky replies to that on YouTube. You know, intuitive readers don't have any bones or meat about them. And so I sort of want to redefine what I mean by that and how much I value research and history, and the more lenses we can see the tarot through, the greater the number of resources we have to draw upon when we open our mouths and start to talk about a card. Can you come in and just read these pictures without knowing anything about the tarot? Sure, you can, but you're not going to get much out of it. I mean, it's so rich, this world of tarot. This ongoing study, I think, is most definitely required. You learn so much. Yeah. And then another thing that makes me laugh, oh my God, I'm sure you've heard content creators say, well, I don't think I have anything else to share. I've answered everybody's questions. Um, and I go like, wow, okay. I don't think I would ever run out of content. There's so much just to discuss, and I want to thank you all very much for your contributions. They are invaluable. Hmm. All right, my friends, I must leave you and tidy up my space for a Reiki session, and I will see some of you next week. Take good care of yourselves. Thank you all so much. Namaste.